Hello there, everybody, this is General Snivy, and welcome back to more of the Ratchet Clank Up Your Arsenal playthrough. I meant to start this particular session earlier today, around 11:15 a.m. In fact, I was going to start around 11:20 to 11:25, like closer to 11:30 actually. But the reason why I had such a rough start was because Stream Elements decided to be a stinky poo-poo head. So what I mean is, if anyone has seen a certain episode of SpongeBob SquarePants where SpongeBob is forced to work at the chum bucket and he refuses to make a Krabby Patty for Plankton, and eventually Plankton has to remove SpongeBob's brain and stick it into a robot, well, that was Stream Elements. So what I mean is, Stream Elements, for whatever gosh diddly dang reason, I don't know what the heck was up that freaking thing's butthole. So what it decided to do was just simply connect to Twitch, then disconnect, then reconnect, disconnect. It was just having a fit. And after re-authenticating Stream Elements to my Twitch channel twice, I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm done with them. I'm just going to try something else. And I decided to try Ada Multistream, which is like Stream Elements' biggest competitor. And it's also the next best thing next to Stream Elements. And from what I understand, Ada Live, Ada Multistream, it is 100 times better. At least it's supposed to be better than, it's supposed to be a hell of a lot better than Stream Elements. That much is for certain. So, anyway, if you couldn't tell, in today's session what we're going to be doing, we're going to go hardcore. We're going to upgrade every single weapon within our arsenal, and we're going to max them all out. It's going to be quite the grind, to say the least. Now, I need to pull up the shield glove because, actually, I'm probably on the wrong planet to do something like this, but you know what? This will be fine. Why is there only one guy down there? Good job. Okay, this was a pretty bad idea. Oopsie daisy. What I meant to do when it comes to a place like that is, Alright, what I'm trying to say here is, the first weapon I'm going to try to work on upgrading is going to be the Hollow Shield Glove. And the reason why I want to do that is because it's one of, if not the hardest and most annoying weapon to work on out of every single weapon in the entire game. And the best place to level that weapon up is here at the crash site. I also have the shield charger too. I still need to work on that. So again, if I just suddenly went live multiple times and then just disappeared multiple times, the reason why it happened in the first place was because of Stream Elements deciding to be a freaking butt. It just decided to be a big fat butt. Like Big Butt from Banjo-Kazooie. You know, that freaking bull? It's a load of bull. You catch my drift? This was not the best spot to put that. Well, I suppose this could be considered a 2-for-1 special because we're working on both the Tesla barrier as well as the Hollow Shield Glove. And let me just say, this is going to take quite a while before we're able to get this done. So strap yourselves in, boys and girls. We're going to be here for quite a while. I'm sure there is another way I can bring some more enemies this way. Here we go. Unfortunately, I did end up losing one of them, which is kind of annoying. Put it down, please. You gotta love it when this shield doesn't really shield. Another problem with the shield too, for whatever reason, upon putting it down, it only lasts for a couple seconds before it vanishes. I don't know if this is a quirk of the PS3 re-release of the game, or if it's just trash. Either way, it's annoying as hell. But hey, this is the best place to level up this weapon just because of the fact that A, there are several enemies right here that shoot projectiles, and B, another reason as well, is you're right next to a freaking ammo vendor. So, there we go. You can just keep putting shields down over and over again. And also the shield barrier that we have going right now. Okay, what's the name of this again? Tesla barrier, that's what it is. Not to be confused with the car brand that is owned by a musky rat. Anyway, we're going to be here for quite a while, so strap yourselves in. Honestly, the reason why I didn't use ADEM multi-stream before and I went with stream elements was because of Twitch's previous arbitrary requirements when it comes to multi-streaming in general. But since they've now relaxed those rules, ADEM multi-stream really is the better alternative, or just the better option when it comes to multi-streaming in general. So, that is excellent. Again, I do apologize for the technical difficulties that we had at the very start of today's stream. There wasn't a whole lot that I could have done about that, unfortunately. I mean, really, I am trying my best here when it comes to delivering high-quality content, but sometimes there are some days of which I sometimes just have technical issues, unfortunately. I don't know why these things happen, they just do. I really hate it when it does happen, and it's super freaking annoying as hell. One very nice thing about the shield charger, or just the hollow shield glove in general, ammo for this thing is very, very cheap, and since we have several million bolts to work with, to work with when it comes to ammo preservation and just ammo refills in general, well, we don't need to worry about running out of money anytime soon, if ever. Just a little bit more. And done. Bazinga. The Omega Hollow Shield Launcher, whatever the hell it's called. Either way, I don't care! Everyone dies! Definitely good to see that we leveled up our first weapon within the first 20 minutes of today's session. Granted, the first 8 minutes or so was spent for the pre-stream, but you get my point. So yeah, going through here as well as the beginning parts of the command center is also a really great way of leveling up your weapons. And for some lower tier weapons that are not so good at dealing with enemy forces and stuff like that, well, guess what? This is a good place to go because the enemies here are not as strong as the ones at the command center. Albeit they don't grant as much EXP, but I digress. Dismiss, but you know what? Who cares? And again, you can just do full loops around the entire planet, and once your loop is complete, then go for a swim! Go for a swim with the fishes and just start again. That's just how it works. Speaking of things that work, we're up to level 7 of the Plasma Storm. Hell yeah, that's what I like to see. Again, annihilating every single enemy with these weapons is so freaking satisfying. I also learned something else recently when it came to the trophy description of this particular achievement that I'm trying to go for here. For whatever reason, You only have to level up the Gadgetron weapons to their Omega state. The Megacorp weapons, you can just forget about them and throw them in the trash, if you want. As for me, I'm just going to work on whatever weapons I have currently equipped on the first ring of the Quick Select wheel. So in other words, we're working on the shield barrier, as well as the plasma storm thing. I believe both of these weapons are considered Megacorp weapons rather than Gadgetron, but what can I say? I'm a bit of a completionist. I like going above and beyond when it comes to my overall suffering. Plus, it'll also pad up the runtime of today's stream a little bit, you know? Because you never know. Sometimes things go on a bit shorter than expected. Although I am expecting another long grind, but who knows? Who knows how that's going to work? Someone shooting at me? Bye. Oh wait, you're not dead. Now you're done. Bye-bye. Also, you probably noticed that I have decided to change my skin again. This time I decided to rock the old school Ratchet skin. The reason why? I figured it was a fitting skin to send off this whole playthrough. Which, honestly, I know it's kind of annoying that we're going on one extra session, but hey, I haven't played this game in a very, very long time, so therefore, I may not necessarily know, hey, this is the best way of getting through X, Y, and Z, you know? Okay, I think that's enough of that. Now it's time to head on off back to the command center. Reason why is so we can actually begin a proper farming session. So much fun, am I right? Again, I really do apologize for the whole technical difficulties thing. I just wish Stream Elements worked. I wish it worked better. It's just unfortunately being the blood. So we're using Ada Multistream. You know, I'm kind of surprised these guys aren't going down right away. Also, if you're wondering, how far do we have to go in order to properly grind these weapons? It's actually not too far from the very start of the level. As you can see, we're going to be going about as far as the top of that tower that we're about to start climbing. Once all the enemies up there are all sent to the Shadow Realm, then we'll just go for a swim and we do it again. I say as I fall back down. Where are the enemies exactly? Huh. Interesting. Well then. Maybe the reason why there aren't as many enemies now versus before is because I successfully looped around to, I looped around the command center, or successfully completed the place. You know, minus, obviously, fighting and defeating Dr. Nefarious, but you know what I mean? Kinda strange. Really, I thought there would be a lot more enemies around here, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Nice. Omega Rift Ripper. Hell yeah. Okay. Now at this point, I don't think there's going to be any more enemies that are going to be spawning. Normally a big truckload of enemies would start raining down from the tower there, but again, I think because of the fact that we went through this place successfully, we don't even need to worry about that. Oh, wow, you're not dead? Wow, that is a lot of EXP for that. That's what I'd like to see. Now, we should be able to fully level up this weapon by the time we kill at least one more enemy. And boom goes the dynamite. Hell yeah. That's another one down. On to the next one, which will be the infector thing. But first, it's time to go for a dip with everyone's favorite uncle, Uncle Dip. Again, it is unfortunate that I'm not able to fully min-max as well as I would like around here, just because of the fact that I completed this place earlier. But it is what it is, unfortunately. It ain't a big deal. We can still get a lot of EXP just from farming these enemies over and over again. In fact, this thing's about to reach level 7! Sweet! And once it does reach level 7, then we'll just loop back around and do it all again. I don't know how the heck I managed to get back onto the wall. Probably because of the timing of me hitting the obstacle, getting myself burned, and leveling up the weapon at the exact same time. So, that's cool. I don't think the game automatically adjusted the difficulty scale or anything. Which I did learn recently that this game does have a dynamic difficulty scale, much like in the same vein as Resident Evil 4. And I'm talking about the OG one, not the remake. I think how it works is that if you happen to perish enough times, then the game takes pity on you and reduces the enemy's overall damage output as well as their HP. So it makes it so you can progress a little bit more easily. So that's pretty nice. It does take a little bit of time for the dynamic difficulty thing to kick in, but hey, it is what it is. There we go. That's another weapon added to the Omega roster. Hell yeah! Alright, what's next? Tempest! Sure. I don't think this weapon can deal very much damage against Dr. Nefarious either, so we're not going to worry too much about it. Wow, that was pretty nice. And that's more EXP for the shield barrier, so that's cool. And again, figured might as well go for a 2-for-1 special of working on the shield barrier as well as get the shield barrier as well as all of my other weapons going. Alright, Tempest level 7! The Giga Tempest is ours! On to the next one. I haven't really thought too much about how much EXP this thing needs. Because to be frank, I'm more so focused on leveling up all the other weapons. Excuse me. Oh, nice! Tempest is now in its Omega form. Say hello to the Omega Tempest! Sweet. Alright. Now for the gloves. Now for the turret gloves, I mean to say. Of course, when it comes to the Tesla barrier, it does help when it comes to weakening some of the enemies around here, especially when it comes to the little miniature turret. Didn't mean to throw it into the frickin' drink. Here we are. Nice. Now we got the Mega Turret level 7. It's excellent to see. Hopefully level 8 will come sooner rather than later. And I'm surprised that managed to stay on the level. I Again, when it comes to utilizing the turrets and stuff, just make sure they're in a good spot before you throw one down. Kind of surprised that turret couldn't quite finish off the enemy there, which is unfortunate. But thankfully, this next loop around should most definitely be enough to level this thing up to the max, which is great. Kind of surprised this thing is still not maxed out yet, but here we are. There we go! That's another Omega weapon. Omega Mega Turret Glove. Alright, what's next? Heavy Bouncer. Sure, sounds great. I mean, that's kind of a good thing because of the fact that, you know, he was on the ground, so we don't need to worry about him going, any place naughty. Heavy Bouncer is at level 7 now. Love seeing that. I do wonder, though, how much EXP can I get for defeating the first phase of Dr. Nefarious? That's something I'm kind of wondering right now. Bye. You know what, let's go ahead and take a look and see. Just for fun. I doubt this thing can even kill Dr. Nefarious' first phase, but you never know. You never know what may happen. Again, this may not be the most efficient way of leveling up the weapon right now, but you know what? Better than nothing. Oh, my back. Ugh. I needed that drink. I really hate the fact that I have to redo the skydiving section each time I even attempt this. But thankfully, you don't have to do anything whatsoever when it comes to the whole skydiving bit for this fight. Why? Because for whatever reason, the missiles are completely misaligned. But doesn't mean that Dr. Nefarious won't continuously attack you. You know what I mean? Not exactly a fun time now, is it? No, didn't think so. You really laughing, buddy? Yeah, no. Don't even bother. Just sit the hell down and accept your fate. I say as he's nearly killing me right now. Okay, that didn't give me a whole lot of EXP. Kinda strange, but hey, these things happen sometimes. Maybe I should have gone for, maybe I should have just kept the grind going the other way. Which, yeah, I probably should have, all things considered. But, hey. I wanted to experiment and see if I can get any more EXP for taking down some of the bigger enemies around here. As well as getting close to Dr. Nefarious, but of course we're not going to actually continue fighting him. God, I wish this thing would explode just a wee bit sooner. Nice miss. That's okay. Who cares? Keep moving on. Now, like I mentioned before, I think around this point, if you manage to destroy all enemies in your path, then the Galactic Rangers will eventually show up to help clear the way. Maybe. I remember them being able to do that. In fact, yeah, I think they are about to do that. Yep, here they are. Thank you, boys. Thank you for the extra hand. Now I'm about ready to go for a dip. Care to join me? Nice. Cool. Okay. That was rather fun. It was nice seeing how much weapon EXP we could get just from that section alone, and to be honest, I'm not impressed. I mean, sure, it's a nice little change of pace and good variety and stuff, but at the same time, I don't know. I ain't feeling it, Chief. But still, if you want to break up the monotony, you could go fight Dr. Nefarious and defeat him. Heck, one thing you could do is fight Dr. Nefarious, finish him off, and instead of going into challenge mode again, you could instead just time warp to just before you defeated him. So, in other words, you can just farm Dr. Nefarious over and over again if you want. Just, again, I feel like you don't really need to do that. You can just get so much more EXP from fighting these regular enemies right here. Because for whatever reason, they give out more EXP than the other guys do. I don't know why. It's so weird. Not like there was a whole lot that we needed to worry about there. Also, that's kind of funny how that big commando guy tried to pistol whip me, and yet he only nudged me back. I didn't even flinch. That's pretty nice. It's pretty hilarious, too. Again, I think it was just due to the fact that the barrier was up. Good to see that. Good to see that we're that much closer to leveling up the barrier to its maximum output. And speak of the devil, and they shall appear. Sweet. There is one other thing I haven't really mentioned yet, and that is that some weapons, upon leveling up to like level 3 or even level 2, they get access to a lock-on mode, where if you push, I think L2 and R2, you'll be able to lock onto the enemy and strafe constantly. I think that's how it works. But obviously that feature does not apply if you're using the lock strafe control scheme, aka the best control scheme. Why? Because that would be kind of redundant and completely unnecessary. Just saying. Alright, that's another Omega weapon! And the Omega Arsenal Trophy is ours! Which means Omega Man and Hero of the Galaxy! Nice! And we're not even an hour into today's session. And we got the Platinum. That means we're done! We're done weapon grinding. Finally! Oh, man. I gotta say, I was expecting this to last a hell of a lot longer, but at least now we're finally done. And now that I really think about it, I should probably go to the Starship Phoenix before we head off to the Insomniac Museum. Because, well, we should take a look at all the trophies that we have acquired. Just so that way we can see all the progress that we made throughout the course of the whole freaking game. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go all the way to Starship Phoenix. And we'll also change the paint job and the body and the wings one last time. Although, at this point, it doesn't really matter because once we leave the Starship Phoenix, we'll be heading back to Metropolis. You know, I'm kind of surprised that this didn't take anywhere near as long as I thought it would. But hey, we got the trophy. We got the last 2 trophies that we needed. And that makes me very, very happy.